Today's recipe is mayonnaise. It's not my fault. And what I'm going to do is substitute some of my ingredients and just see if it turns into something. I'm just hideously bad at some things. It's not like you can be good at everything. I'm willing to take the risk here. So let's get an egg yolk. Did I say hideously? I said hideously, right? Hideously bad. Horrible, horrible, terrible. I had to get eggs from a neighbor. That's why I have green eggs right now. I'm really bad at cooking videos. I tend to screw things up. It's a really big whisk. I don't want to whisk it. Whisk it until thick. Okay, arm's getting a little tired. Switch up my hand positioning. Maybe that'll use some slightly different muscles. The thing is, I guess I don't know how to cook. I'm supposed to use a bowl that's been slightly warmed. It's a little extra poured out of there, so never measure that way. You should always measure into a side bowl and then pour it in, because that can happen. Do what I say, not what I do, as my mother would always say. I really always wanted to learn to make mayonnaise from scratch. So that might be enough. I suppose later, if it tastes weird, I can always add more. But when things can go wrong, they usually do. So let's whisk that. I guess I knew I really was going to mess up. Okay, add olive oil in drops. Add my second substitution because I'm awesome. We are just gonna use regular old vegetable oil. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. Now, I'm just going to add this to the blender. I'm really not sure it's enough to blend. But I always try to redeem myself. And I promise you, at the end of this video, I am redeemed. Completely redeemed. Only just splattered my face a little bit there. It looks like water. Trust me. Or don't, whatever. Now I'm gonna add it through the top hole. Here's the recipe. Seriously? This isn't working at all. Now it's turned completely into liquid. Disaster. Could not be more of a failure. Mom, that's some great lemonade you make there. Wait, that was supposed to be mayonnaise, not lemonade. Actually, it looks a little more like orange juice. Perhaps my bowl isn't warm enough, so I am heating up this bowl from underneath. Don't try this at home with your normal bowls. This is a stoneware bowl. Probably going to be fine on this heat. Maybe I'll take it down a notch. See if I can whip any air into this. So right now I'm sensing that this is going to be a complete disaster. My mixer is costing $150 to repair. Putting a new motor in is beyond my expertise, so I did not attempt to take it apart. My mother gave me that mixer and I'm kind of attached to it and I don't want to risk it. Since I'm not cooking the eggs, I have to be very careful to make sure the eggs are clean. 2 egg yolks. 3 egg yolks.
3 egg yolks. Teaspoon of English mustard. And the mustard gives the mayonnaise a little bit of heat.
Yeah, it's barely touching the blade. It's in the oil very slowly. I'm not spinning. Oh my gosh, I need 2 hands. How do I need 3 hands. Oh my gosh, this is what my life is, jerry-rigging things. There we go. It appears to be turning into something now. It's thickening. That's way too much salt. Oh my God, you're supposed to put a 4 teaspoons of salt in it. Well, I have a solution for that. Let's just add back in my first mixture. Because who cares? It's too salty anyway. It's not gonna make any difference. I know that has less salt. That's better. That tastes like mayo. Taste some store mayonnaise. It's milder. Way less salt. You can sometimes cut salt in a recipe or acid in a recipe. And salt is an acid, is it not? You can cut it by adding a little bit of sugar. Mmm, that's good. Get the mayo into the jar. One of the greatest inventions ever is the wide mouth jar funnel. Everyone should have one of these. I didn't have one for most of my life, and then I got one and I use it near daily. Thank you, Gordon Ramsay, you saved me. Gordon Ramsay said to use the food processor, and it is a beautiful thing. I've been dying to try making mayonnaise forever. Now, I would do it a little differently. I will do it again, and I will perfect my recipe. But for now, this is a really beautiful mayonnaise. Let's taste it with a piece of chicken. Put on mayonnaise. That's lovely. Chicken was a little dry, but the mayonnaise just really made my mouth water, and it's excellent on the brown meat. Yes, it's a different consistency than store-bought, because it's not store-bought. Seems a little bit thinner. Not so thin that it's gonna look like it's gonna make your sandwich soggy. I'm so glad this worked out. Yeah, so the most important point is getting that initial part of the oil and egg to blend with itself. Everything can be saved. That will go with my lunch. And it needs to go in the fridge. This must be refrigerated, and it lasts, I think, up to 2 weeks. Used by 1/3/0/18. It's time to see if my mayonnaise is edible. These Honey Crisps, I don't know what elephant DNA they have mixed into these. Apples are huge, but they are, in fact, delicious. They're really huge. Just a little dizzy. Forgot to breathe. When I get one of those roast chickens, we have it as a meal where we just cut off pieces of the breast, and then, or maybe a leg, I don't know, eat all that at one meal. We eat it at a second meal, and then after that second meal, I cut apart every piece of meat off of that chicken. I put the bones in the freezer to make into broth at a later date. I use all kinds of food scraps, little pieces of celery that I'm not going to use in my cooking or something. I freeze those. I freeze bits of onion. I keep a bag in the freezer, and then when I'm ready to do my broth, I just throw all that junk together and I put it in the Instant Pot, and I turn it into a delicious broth. Even onion skin can go in your broth if you're super frugal. I just made a sourdough starter. I'm gonna feed this every day. Every day you have to discard half and then feed it and water it. I'm hoping that after a week I can actually make a loaf of sourdough bread. I've tried this before unsuccessfully, but I think I didn't know what I was doing. I think I have a better grasp of the keeping this sourdough yeast. Basically, it's a fungus and I need to keep this alive. I set a timer for every day at noon to feed it, and I'll know it's ready when an hour to 4 hours after I feed it, it has doubled in size. That's how I'll know that it's ready to use. Oh, that's good. Thanks for watching, you guys. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I gotta move this dresser and vacuum underneath. This is messy down there.